Hi guys, I'm back again with some more stories for you today. Let's go to the first one, about OP, who is being blamed for ruining her best friend's wedding because she left while she was the maid of honor. But the groom revealed an old secret about the bride to her. Listen to the story to find out about the secret, and of course to hear my insights. Enjoy the stories, guys, and don't forget to like and subscribe. And of course, don't forget to leave a comment. I dated my ex-boyfriend John for 4 years and got serious enough where we started planning for our future, wedding, kids, etc. I thought we were pretty happy, but last year he dumped me pretty suddenly. I tried to figure out what went wrong, but he said it was personal and that I should respect his space. During this time, my best friend Stacy and her fiance Tom were my rocks, letting me crash at their place and just being overwhelmingly supportive and loving. When Stacy asked me to be her maid of honor, I thought it was a no-brainer and happily took on the task. Fast forward to what happened this weekend. The morning of the wedding, Tom asked me to meet him for breakfast super early in the AM, before all of the festivities. I thought it was weird, but assumed he maybe wanted to pass something on to Stacy. What happened instead was that Tom let me know that a few days prior, Stacy admitted to him that she had an affair with John, which was what led to my breakup. He said that Stacy wanted to come clean to start their marriage fresh, and that he was forgiving her to move forward. He had gone back and forth between telling me, and finally decided to spill the beans. I guess he had expected me to forgive Stacy too, because the affair was so long ago. The opposite pretty much happened, and I just walked out on the wedding. It ended up causing a huge mess because I was basically running the whole show. Stacy made me do everything, so she didn't even know what was happening at certain times or who to call. Not only that, but everyone realized that the maid of honor wasn't there. She had headshots and bios of the party on her wedding page, and news of the affair eventually got out because her cousin knew John. Stacy and Tom have both been slandering me online now, saying that I ruined their once-in-a-lifetime moment. Some of their friends are on their side, saying that I should have handled the situation more privately, and at least stuck out the wedding since it was so last minute. I personally don't know what Tom expected, but either way, I've been getting bombarded with texts, and I heard that Stacy has been so upset she's had to take time off work, which does make me feel like an a-hole, especially since I've just been ignoring her calls. I really don't understand. What did Stacy expect? For OP to stand up there next to her with a smile on her face, knowing she's the reason OP's relationship ended? Tom has some nerve too. What was he thinking by telling the secret on his wedding day? That OP will suck it up and pretend nothing happened? Well, that's a little bit delusional. Stacy is not a friend, and neither are the people complaining about OP. Stacy was deceitful and finally faced the consequences of her actions. And now let's see if the community agrees with me. Iron Chef 8000 says, "Hard not the a-hole on this one. Was walking out of the wedding the day of a nice thing to do? Not particularly. But what on earth did they expect would happen by telling you? And on the wedding day? They knew they were playing with fire. They chose when to tell you this information. Simply walking out, because, whoa Nelly, I bet there were a ton of conflicting emotions, was pretty adult. You didn't cause a huge scene. You simply extricated yourself from the situation, not the a-hole." Sasha says, "So wait, your best friend has an affair with your then fiance. He breaks up with you over it, canceling your happy ever after. She asks you to be her maid of honor, but everyone is upset with you because you found out she slept with your fiance. And you can't suck it up for a few hours to make her great day, to start her happily ever after. Not the a-hole." Odd Satisfaction 6243 says, "Not the a-hole. The person you call your best friend went behind your back and betrayed you. The karma came right back to her like a boomerang." If you would have told me years ago that I would be in this situation, I would have laughed. But here we go. My boyfriend suggested that I get an outside perspective here. I, 26 female, was dating James, male 26, for most of college, and we had plans to get engaged after graduation. 2 months before graduation, I caught him planning to cheat. Nothing physical seemed to have happened yet, but he and another girl were making plans for a weekend that he told me he was going for a quick visit home. Cheating is an instant deal breaker to me, and it was over. Instead of having a fight, I didn't say anything. Just waited till after he left for home, texted him proof that I had caught him, and "good thing you're single now, have fun." Then blocked him on everything and went for a girls' weekend with friends. James lost his crap and spent a month trying to get in contact with me or guilt friends into helping him. The few messages that got through, I trashed without even reading them. After a while, I thought he had finally given up. About a year later, my sister, 24 female, announces she wants to bring her boyfriend home to meet the family. We didn't realize she had a boyfriend, but my parents had a barbecue and told her to bring him. It was James. My parents were stunned, but tried to pull it together. I just left. My sister called and tried to explain later that they had met at a party on campus, and it was no big deal since I broke up with him. I told her I thought she could do better, but she could make her own mistakes. I just wouldn't be spending time around them. She got mad about it because our parents took my side. I don't get along with my sister at the best of times, so avoiding them wasn't hard, except at holidays. My parents caved and let him come to Thanksgiving and Christmas, since they seemed serious. James seemed way too invested in getting back on my good side when he was around, and it apparently made my sister jealous, because she started acting brattier than normal. This last weekend was a milestone birthday for my mom, and I thought it would be a good chance to introduce them to my boyfriend Todd, 29 male. Mom gave it the okay, and Todd actually made a great impression on the family. James was there with my sister, and he was pissed and left early. My sister called me later and yelled at me for upsetting James and trying to make him jealous to get his attention. I told her that she knew she was getting a cheat when she decided to date my sloppy seconds, and he was no longer my problem. Since then, she's blown up social media venting about it and is refusing to see my parents for the holidays if Todd and I are there. My parents think she's over the top and acting out, but she's on their case so much they want me to try and smooth it over and apologize for calling him sloppy seconds. I think it was an apt description. I think OP should ask her sister if her boyfriend is over her and really into her. If he's over OP, then he shouldn't be jealous. And if he is jealous, how is that OP's fault? What exactly was she expecting? That OP would stay single for the rest of her life? OP shouldn't have to miss family holidays because James is upset. They can spend them with his family. In my opinion, OP has nothing to apologize for. And now let's hear the community's opinion. OK Kangaroo 1873 says, "Not the a-hole. You can choose your friends and your boyfriends, but you can't choose your family. Your sister and James are a perfect match for each other." Comfortable Focus 123 says, "Not the a-hole. It almost appears that James is dating your sister to get back at you, and she is blissfully ignorant of that fact." Fancy That 012 says, "Not the a-hole. Your sister refuses to accept that not only did she get your cast off, he's also not worth the drama and issues this has brought in the family. If she's angry at you instead of with him because he got jealous, then she's being ridiculous, and apologizing for it isn't going to make her see sense." My spouse and I have a 3-year-old kid. When eating out, my spouse and I each order an entree, along with a kid's meal for our toddler. Occasionally, we might order an appetizer if there's something unique or interesting, but not always. Dessert is very rare. My sister-in-law and her husband have 3 kids, 16, 12, 10. Everyone orders an adult entree, as well as 1 or 2 appetizers. 2 to 5 desserts are guaranteed. I'll just add that my sister-in-law's family have hearty appetites and the BMI to match, while we were on the opposite end of the spectrum. When it comes time to pay, my sister-in-law always insists on just splitting the bill 50-50 to make things easier, and for the past several years, I've always obliged. Until last week. When the server came to pick up the check and the 2 cards, I explicitly mentioned to the server that she could split it along family lines. Sister-in-law gave me an ugly look, and my spouse shot daggers at me with her eyes. Later that night, my spouse said I was an a-hole for being so cheap with family. The argument is that there's no need to be cheap, especially since while everyone makes decent money, I make the most money out of all of us. In addition, we always split 50-50 with my siblings' family. They have 2 kids, 7 and 2. I said it's not the dollar amount, it's the principle of always paying way more than our fair share. Also, my siblings' family orders a comparable amount of food to us, versus sister-in-law's family who always orders significantly more. So, am I the a-hole for not splitting the bill evenly with my sister-in-law's larger family? I think 50-50 splits are fine when people are consuming comparable amounts, or where it's a frequent enough event that even if there are differences each time, it averages out overall. From the way OP described it, this isn't that. They're probably responsible for 2/3 or more of the bill, consistently, taking the piss. Mundane Japan says, "Not the a-hole, and I've never understood this splitting the bill to make things easier nonsense. It only makes things financially easier for the people who want to eat and drink more and spend less. Good for you for standing up for yourself, as it's obvious that this family has been taking advantage of you. Chris82868 says, not the a-hole. How is it you being cheap versus the people who don't want to pay their fair share? El Catman says, I don't like it when people, when they're eating out, decide to split the bill evenly. No, I'm not going to pay for 2 of those margaritas and cake slices you were dying to have. No, I'm not going to pay for that porterhouse steak you had, while I only had the chicken. In the end, you're not just paying for your food, you're paying for other people's food too. It's not to make it easier on those who are paying. It's to make it so that the giant meal you had is paid for by others. Not the a-hole. Forgot my judgment. My, female 32, older sister, female 47, has always been a little mean-spirited, but everyone in my family has appeased her due to our parents, especially our mother. No matter what she has done, our mother will make excuses for her. Yesterday, she took it to another level. She recently separated because of her shenanigans, and my mother pressured me to allow her and her children, 3 female, 5 male, 8 male, 11 female, 13 male, to stay with me as my other siblings, female 25, 30 male, 37 female, male 43, wouldn't take her in. They all made excuses that they have family and I don't have a partner, so it makes sense that I put up with her. I agreed, but told her that no matter what happened in the past, I wouldn't put up with her behavior anymore. This is my newly bought house, and I expected them all to behave and follow house rules. No sneaking around and going through cupboards, and no taking food which is labeled. I meal prep for work. No reading diaries. She has done this on several occasions when we lived together as children, and when we house shared. Or going on my devices without prior permission. A laptop is available for guest use. No borrowing my clothes. She has stayed with me for a month, and managed to break all rules. When confronted, her go-to answer is, so what? It's only a diary, dress, some food you can make more, and so on. Her children have also broken a few of my things. Every time, my mother has convinced me to make her stay, due to her situation and that the children are just children. Yesterday, I had a work party at my place, and I am a private person, so don't discuss my private life with anyone. It's usually hi and bye for me. My team leader convinced me to have the party at my place in return for reimbursement. Strike one was her coming down before the party and wearing the dress I had chosen for the party, but due to her being a size 12, she ripped it in the sides as I'm a size 8. I didn't want to ruin the party, so told her to quit her BS and put on a different dress. She mingled with my guests and told several embarrassing stories, quite a few made-up ones too. I tried to keep my cool. Her youngest was also at the party, despite our agreement that she had to put him to bed early. She puked on one of the managers, who took it in stride and said she was only a baby, these things happen. At the meal, my sister called for attention by tapping her champagne glass. This is when crap hit the fan. She started reading out loud from my diary, pages with things I haven't shared with my closest friends, never mind coworkers. She got about a half a page down before I grabbed her and took her to the door and threw her out. I also grabbed her children and chucked them out. Then I went upstairs and grabbed what I could of hers and threw it out the second floor window. There was no going back from that, and my guests made their excuses. This morning, my mother left me some choice words on my answering phone, and my older brother is angry, as he has to put up with her until they can convince me to take her back, as my mother said. My sister left me 10+ messages on how disrespectful I was. I have taken the week off work, but can't see how I can return ever again. Am I the a-hole for not being patient with her during her grieving moment in life? Bright C7567 says, what the duck? Tell your whole family to go screw themselves and change your locks. The Crowned and Anchor says, change the locks on your door. 1. Put cameras inside and outside of your house. 2. Block everyone in your family for the time being. Everyone thinks this is your problem to solve, but it's not. So just remove yourself entirely and let the cameras alert you if they show up, so you cannot answer the door, or you can call the police. Not the a-hole. Flux Kraken says, not the a-hole, and anyone who leaves you a message calling you out, just reply with, thank you for agreeing to take in my sister. I will let her know. As for not showing up at work again, don't quit your job yet. Yeah, it might be slightly awkward, but just joke about your B of a sister and complain about your mom to anyone who mentions it. It will most likely blow over. But of course, this is up to you. Either way, you did absolutely nothing wrong, and your sister is absolutely horrid. I, female 15, babysit for money because my parents won't let me get a real job. But my mom has a habit of telling her friends that I will do it for free. So I've started demanding payment up front from her friends, and I'm very clear that if they are going to be any longer than agreed, they have to transfer me more money immediately. I'm sick and tired of her friends saying that they will be home by 10 and then getting there at 1 in the morning. I have lost a few of them as clients because I'm acting entitled, and my mom says that she is embarrassed that I'm behaving this way about money. I told her that if she wanted, she could pay me to watch her friends' children. She didn't like that either. She said that as long as I live with her, I have to respect her, and that means doing favors for her friends. I basically said no problem, and immediately called my dad and asked if I could permanently move into my room at his house. He has asked me a few times if that is something I would like, because of my constant complaints about my mom. The funny thing is, he uses me to babysit his kids, but he always pays me because he knows that's how I make money. And my stepmom is also cool with paying me if she needs a break on my time there. So now my mom says I'm being manipulative by threatening to move out just because I'm not getting my way. I think she is in the wrong for volunteering my time without my permission, especially when she does it retroactively. Edit. She has done this to my little brother too. Our neighbors offer him money to mow their lawns, rake leaves, or shovel snow, and she makes him either take less or turn down payment. He has dealt with it by just refusing to do anything for anyone since he knows he won't get paid. F this life says, not the a-hole. You are her kid, not her slave. Boston Revolutionary says, not the a-hole. Move out. Get paid for the work you do, and don't let your mother try and control you. Her friends can pay you or pay for a new babysitter. Jeepers Creepers 74 says, not the a-hole. Your labor is not hers to give out for free, period. You've handled this well and will make a great businesswoman someday.